Dad, could you talk a little about how I can be honest?
Sure, son. Sit down here with me. I want to talk to you about something very important in life. Honesty. I know that sometimes it seems easier not to be completely truthful, especially when we're afraid of hurting someone or facing the consequences of our actions. But listen to what I'm going to tell you. Being honest in all circumstances is one of the greatest proofs of character you can demonstrate. And that's what I want you to carry with you throughout your life. Have you heard that quote from Abraham Lincoln? He once said, "No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar." That really stuck with me when I first read it because there's a profound truth in it. A lie will always demand its price, sooner or later. Sometimes it's immediate. Sometimes it can take years. But in the end, it always catches up with us. And you know what's worse? It's not just the lie itself. It's the weight of carrying that guilt, the exhaustion of trying to maintain a story that isn't true. It's like a spider's web that keeps growing until we don't know how to escape it anymore. I know you've been through moments where the truth was hard to face. Maybe it was at school, when you thought that by telling the truth you might hurt yourself. Or maybe it was with your friends, when speaking the truth could have caused conflict. Believe me, I've been there too, and I know how tough it can be. But let me tell you something. Honesty, even when it seems difficult or painful, is always the best path. Remember the story of George Washington and the cherry tree? He was just a boy when he cut down his father's favorite tree with an axe. When his father found out, he was furious and asked who did it. Washington, scared to death, admitted it was him. His father, though disappointed, said something that has gone down in history. "I'd rather have a son who tells me the truth than one who hides his mistakes." This story, true or not, teaches us something essential. Trust is built on a foundation of truth. And once you lose that trust, it's very hard to get it back. Now, think about this, son. Why do we lie? Usually it's out of fear of disappointing someone, fear of the consequences, fear of losing something or someone. But the truth is that lying creates more fear and insecurity. Every time we lie, we feed this cycle of fear. When we are honest, even if the truth is hard to deal with, we create a solid foundation of trust with others, and more importantly, with ourselves. Have you heard about David in the Bible? He was a man of many mistakes, but he was always honest with God about his failures. He never tried to hide who he was or what he had done. Instead, he acknowledged his mistakes and asked for forgiveness. That's what made him great. Not because he was perfect, but because he was true. And that, son, is a great life lesson. Being honest doesn't mean you'll be perfect. It means you'll be authentic and trustworthy. I've been on the other side too. I've lied and tried to hide things to avoid facing the truth. And I can tell you, it was never worth it. Every time I tried to dodge something with a lie, life found a way to bring me back to the truth. And it was always harder than it would have been if I had been sincere from the start. I learned that being honest is a form of respect, not just for others, but for myself. You know, son, being honest is also about respecting the world. When you act with truth, you create an environment of transparency where the people around you feel secure. Remember that friend of yours who always tells you the truth, even when you don't want to hear it? That's the kind of person we all want around us, because we know we can trust them. There are no hidden motives, and their word is true. This reminds me of a quote from philosopher Mark Twain. He said, "If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything." And it's true. When we are honest, we live lightly. We don't have to spend energy trying to remember what we said or worrying about being found out. The truth gives us freedom. I know honesty can be tough sometimes. Telling the truth might seem like the hardest path, especially when it involves feelings or consequences we'd prefer to avoid. But let me tell you, the respect you gain, both from others and from yourself, is worth much more than any momentary relief a lie might bring. And it's not just about big truths, son. It's also about the small things in everyday life. If you make a mistake, admit it. If you don't know something, be honest about it. If you think you've done something that might have hurt someone, speak the truth. These small actions over time build your character, and character, son, is what truly matters in this life. I will always be here to support you, no matter what happens. But one thing I will always ask of you is to be true. With me, with your mother, with your friends, and above all, with yourself. Because at the end of the day, when you lay your head on the pillow, it's your truth that will give you peace. And that peace, son, is priceless. Life will offer you many opportunities to be dishonest, but it will also give you the chance to choose the right path. And each time you choose the truth, you will grow stronger. You will see that honesty, no matter how difficult it may be at times, is the foundation of a well-lived life, a fulfilling life. So, my son, when the fear of speaking the truth arises, remember what we talked about here today. Be strong, be courageous, and above all, be honest. Because that's what will guide you through the toughest paths and earn you the respect of those who truly matter. I believe in you, and I know you will make the right choices.